Hello students, welcome to the session. I am Mr. Ramesh Mota, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering. This session is on the ramps. The outcome of this session. At the end of this session, you will be in a position to understand and comprehend basics of ramps used in building construction, particularly for the physically challenged persons. So let's start learning. Ramps. So ramps are nothing but the inclined surface that joins different levels of a space. The ramps are commonly used at the entrance of buildings to accommodate level changes. These ramps are provided in buildings for the easy access, particularly of a physically challenged persons who are using the wheelchairs. They also are equally important for the old age persons where or for whom climbing the steps will be a challenging task. So instead of that, they even can use the ramps for the easy access. The maximum slope of a ramp should be such as to provide comfortable and easy access to the building. This figure indicates the ramps, where you can easily see that the access is provided, and this access is in the form of a certain inclined surface that connects the ground level with certain say plinth level or higher elevated surfaces. Now slope represents the proportion of vertical rise to horizontal length as it is specified in standards as ratio. For example, 1:12. Here the 1:12 means you need to have a total distance of 12 meter to travel in a horizontal direction so as to achieve a difference or an elevation difference of 1 meter. So it is nothing but a ratio of vertical distance to horizontal distance. So 1 meter vertical distance can be covered with a 12 meter of horizontal distance of the ramp. It also can be expressed as percentage, pitch, or in degrees, like the staircase. The running slope is to be uniform along a run, although slight variation may occur with certain materials as concrete, but it is always advisable to have the constant or uniform slope. No other change in level other than the running slope and cross slope are permitted. Here the running slope means the slope in the direction of travel, while cross slope means the slope of a surface in the direction perpendicular to the direction of a travel of a person or a user. Variation in slope such as grade breaks within runs can disturb wheelchair travel. So this is the reason why there is no other change is permitted. Here once again the cross slope 1:48 means that it should have a minimal kind of slope, and please remember that if slope is other than 1:12 or lower than 1:12, then that particular sloping surface is not called as a ramp, rather it is called as a walkway. The least possible slope should be used whenever and wherever possible. The maximum allowable slope in any new construction is 1:12 with a maximum rise of 30 inches or 1 feet. 30 inches or around 0.76 meter as such without a landing. If more than this much vertical distance needs to be covered, then one must introduce an intermediate landing so as to facilitate the users. A ramp with a slope between 1:12 to 1:16 can have a maximum horizontal length in a range of around 9 meter or 30 feet without a landing. If we need to accommodate more than this much amount of horizontal distance, then once again one should provide the intermediate landing as described earlier. So this figure help us to understand the basics of the slope in more detail. So in first figure, this particular is a ramp where a wheelchair person or a physically challenged person or a person who might have been suffering from an accident is trying to use it. So in such case, the slope is always advisable as compared to the steps. So it should have a maximum length of 30 feet or 9.14 meter without a landing, and in that much distance we can cover a maximum of around 30 inches or around 76 centimeter in vertical direction. So this figure indicates such larger amount of distance to be traveled where the slope is provided in a range of 1:16. This is supposed to be the comfortable kind of slope, or this is termed as a comfortable slope in other words. So in such case, one must provide certain intermediate landing as shown in this figure. This particular thing help the old age group persons who are using this to have a rest or have a break in between, while for other things the maximum slope can be in a range of 1:20, and in such case even the landing is needed after a certain break as such. So IS 4963 1987 describes the provisions or the requirements of ramps, particularly with the point of view of using this particular thing for a physically challenged persons who are using the wheelchair for the communication or traveling. So as per the IS 4963 1987, a ramp when provided should not have a slope greater than 1:20 or maximum of 1:12 for short distance up to 9000 mm or 9 meter. A ramp shall have handrails on at least one side and preferably both sides that are 0.9 meter in height, measured from the surface of the ramp, that are smooth, that extends 300 mm beyond the top and bottom of the ramp. Where major traffic is predominantly children, the handrail should be placed at lower elevation, which is around 0.76 meter. Where codes specify handrails to be heights other than 900 mm, it is recommended that 2 sets of handrails to be installed to serve all people. Where major traffic is predominantly children, particularly physically disabled children, extra care should be exercised in placement of handrails in accordance with the nature of the facility and the age group or group being serviced or served. Care should be taken that the extension of handrails should not act as hazard itself. The extension up to 300 mm beyond may be made on the sides of a continuing wall. A ramp shall have a surface that is non-slip, and if length is 3.5 meter, the minimum width shall be 1.5 meter. The provision of non-slip surface on ramps greatly assists the handicapped persons with semi or ambulatory disabilities. Non-slip surfaces are provided by many finishes and material. The surface of concrete ramp can be made non-skid by brooming the surface or by finishing with an indenting roller. So that makes the concrete surface say non-slippery enough, and which may helpful for the easy maneuveration of the slope. A ramp shall have a level platform at the top which is at least 1.8 meter long. If a door swings out on the platform or towards the ramp, the platform shall extend off at least 300 mm beyond each side of the doorway. So there should be a level surface of 300 mm at least from the edge of the door. Each ramp shall have at least 1.8 meter of straight clearance at the bottom. This ramp shall have a platform at 10 to 12 meter interval for the purpose of rest and safety, and shall have platforms of minimum 1.5 meter length wherever they turn. For visually impaired people, ramps may be colored contrasted with landing. So this helps the visually impaired persons to understand that this particular or any particular thing is acting as a ramp or even as an intermediate platforms on the ramp. To minimize the risk to wheelchair users, ramps should be equipped with curbs approximately 50 mm high at exposed sides. Curb means the certain vertically upward projecting surfaces which helps the wheelchair not to cross the edges of such sloping surfaces. Ramp run must have a clear width of 36 inches minimum, which is measured in between the handrails as shown in this particular figure. So the width of ramp that part of means of the egress may further to be determined by applicable life safety codes and requirements for minimum exit widths greater than 36 inches. This particular figure provides some more details about the handrails. These must have the height of 34 to 38 inches for the easily accessibility and the traveling of the old age persons. This even say recommends that there should be more than one handrail, particularly at the lower level too, at a range of around 20 to 28 inches should be available. This helps the easy movement. This helps the easy movement of the children, as well as this helps as a safety feature too. Now we'll try to understand a couple of basic terms involved in it. One is rise. The height of runs is limited, and which is 30 inches maximum, as we have seen. So if say this particular figure is representing a ramp, then the horizontal distance is called as a ramp run, while the total inclined distance that needs to be traveled by a person is ramp length, and the vertical distance that has been covered by traveling a one ramp length is called a rise. So it should be around 30 inches maximum, but there is no limit on the number of runs of a ramp may have. The long ramp with many runs can be used, and it must have the intermediate say horizontal surfaces. Those intermediate surfaces can be called are called as landings. So level landings are required at the top and bottom of each run, but they even can be provided at intermediate levels as shown in this figure. So it will have a bottom landing, then first ramp run, then it may have some intermediate kind of landing, and may have another ramp length, and then can have the another say landing in the form of say top landing. So change in level greater than 1 in 48 are not permitted at landing. Landing must be designed to prevent the accumulation of water. This is very important thing that must be followed, that this particular slope of 1 in 48 is much more helpful in draining the any kind of water that may be spilled, or it might be say the rainwater that is there. So this figure provides the insight of the simple ramp, where you can see that there are two surfaces as shown in this figure have been connected with ramp and the handrail. So there must be a grade break, that is where the change in slope occurs must be perpendicular to the direction of run to prevent cross slope issues and uneven surface. No change in level is permitted within a landing, and this is another surface which is expected to be there, which is leveled one. Now this figure shows the two ramps connected with an intermediate landing. So where the width is around 60 inches or 5 feet, so there is a level surface which has been followed by the one part of ramp, and then there is a change in a direction. At the end you must observe that there are some additional projected parts of the handrail to help the persons. So here the minimum width that has been shown is around 5 feet or 1.5 meter. This is another picture which shows that there is an intermediate landing, but the width of the overall ramp is less as shown here. So if that width is less, which is minimum 36 inches as we have seen in the previous parts, then at the landing it must be wide enough and should have a dimension of 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter, and it should have such corner provisions, and because of which the use can become simpler. So these are the very important points. Those must be followed at the time of construction of the ramp. So this is the handrail details. So extension of around 1 feet or 12 inches long in the same direction as shown here is always good to have, and it requires a top and bottom of a run as shown here. So at the bottom as well as at the top of these 12 inches is measured to the start of the return radius. So it is from here to here or from here to here. After that there must be the curved part that needs to be provided. Extension must return to the guard or wall, so it must be returned to the original say vertical portion of the handrail. The bottom gripping surface can be obstructed up to 20% of this length as shown here. The handrail must be continuous to the full length of run, and top and sides of gripping surface cannot be obstructed. So once again, these are the important aspects of the ramp. All these provisions have been mentioned in US Access Board Technical Guide. This is a cross section of the handrail. So here once again the circular kind of or a pipe section is always good to have as an handrail. It must have the diameter in the range of 1.25 to 2 inches, and once again the clear distance between the vertical post to which it has been attached and the actual pipe section, there must be a free space of around 1.5 inch that is to be provided so that it can be gripped by a person without any difficulty. Next is the Azle lamp. So these are the ramps provided in larger areas like assembly halls or the theaters. So these are required to be accessible, are exempt from some handrail requirements. So these kind of ramps adjacent to seating that are not the part of a required accessible route to accessible seating or to other accessible element do not have to comply with any ramp or handrail requirement. These are the part of a required accessible route that can have handrail on at least one side or within the aisle width instead of on both sides as required for the other type of ramps. So handrails on assembly area ramp can be discontinuous and lack extensions to allow access to seating and to permit crossover within this space. So other handrail specifications including those for height, clearance, gripping surface and cross section remain same and they are applicable. So this is the one view where the ramp has been provided on the sides of a sitting area in an assembly hall or say a theater, and on that side there is a one side there is a ramp and handrail is provided along the side wall. While in this figure the sitting area has been divided into two parts, and at center there is a sloping ramp or sloping surface that has been provided. So for that we can provide the handrails in the form of some centrally erected posts connected by some slant handrail kind of thing. So in that there can be a certain discontinuity so that it can be easier for a person to move. Other than this, ramp even can be used in a building construction for access to the basement parking. Particularly nowadays, parkings are constructed at basement as well as even at higher elevations like first floor or second floor and so on. So for that, generally the ramps have been provided. Then it even can be helpful to access to the elevated plinth in case of malls or bazaars where you need to come along with a good amount of goods which have been say kept in a trolley. So it is always easy to have a trolley, and it can be easily say carried with the help of ramps. And even the ramps can be used in parks, gardens, etc. to improve the elegance. So these are some other uses of the ramps. So these are the references used for making this presentation. That's it for this session. Well, thank you for your patience learning, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.